You are listening to the Atlanta Real Estate Forum radio show, all about real estate edition, shining a light on the movers and shakers in the real estate industry, the home builders, developers, realtors, and suppliers making it all happen. And now, here are today's hosts.
Good morning and welcome back to the All About Real Estate edition. I am your host, Todd Schick, joined by my friend and colleague, Carol Morgan. Before we begin, we do want to kick things off and thank New American Funding for being our 2021 show sponsor. Now our 10th year on the air. It has been wonderful having them as our friend and partner. All right, Carol, this is something, today's subject is something you and I have been long intrigued about and excited to see some cool movement in the Metro Atlanta market. It's going to be a really cool conversation.
Yeah. So for anyone who knows me, I like to talk about, cutting edge and new trends and neat things we're seeing out there. So I'm super excited that today we're going to be able to talk about shipping containers. So I'd like to welcome Courtney and Josh Booth. They are the founders of Concrete Roots Group. I'd like to welcome them to the show. And if one of you, and I guess you'll get to pick who, wants to give a little bit of an overview of Concrete Roots and your mission, we'd love to hear more.
Sure. Thanks for having us. So Concrete Roots, we're a construction company and we build both traditional stick frame houses, but most recently our venture, and while we're here today, is talk about our shipping container community that we're building in downtown Atlanta. We also dabble in custom renovation projects as well, but we have decided to venture out and to be innovative in shipping container space. It started out with an idea that Josh had about building tiny house community. And then we kind of evolved that idea and ventured out and said, why not do shipping containers as a vehicle to bring these homes into downtown Atlanta. And what we believe sets us apart is our devotion to promoting home ownership, affordability, and creating opportunity through the construction of these homes. So,
yeah, no, it's something that we as in the marketplace, has been aware of now for years. I mean, I've been reading about this idea and the utilization of these shipping containers for a long, long time, but I've been actually surprised that it hasn't moved as quickly. Josh, talk about. Is this idea time has come? I mean, is this the new thing? Is this something we're going to be talking about a lot and seeing a lot of advancement of quickly?
I mean, I hope so with our company for sure. But throughout, especially the areas, the surroundings of Atlanta and whatnot, there's not a lot of growth in wanting to venture out. So we're having to go to these different counties and cities where people approach us and say, hey, will you build us a container house? We live in this city or that county. And we're having to, kind of preach and talk about the goodness of what we can do. Actually, the sustainability of these container houses, as far as with wood costs and things like that of today, where wood has gone up 25, 30, 40, 50%. I mean, if you talk about just a sheet of plywood, the OSB, it's gone up 200% in the past, 14 months. So, I mean, as far as a cost wise, it's a much better sustainability and cost wise to be able to have a house. So, with us having to preach to all these different cities and counties and things like that, hopefully, some of them are like, no, we've been doing stick frame houses for, since forever time. And some of them are listening. We have some counties that are actually approaching us from seeing what we're doing and saying, hey, we see what you're doing. We like it. We like your style. Can you venture and co-op a project with us for the actual county to build things so we can show these people that live in the county, hey, we have different methods, different ways. So, yes, I think it's still, maybe a few years away from, multiple counties really signing on and catching on to the situation. But it takes one. And then another, and then another, and then then it's kind of, then we're there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The ball's rolling.
And you've definitely hit on, a couple of different topics. You think about housing affordability and zoning regulations and where all of that collides, it's clear that in order to solve the housing shortage, we're going to have to do things differently. You got to think outside the box, or maybe in this case, you got to think about the box. But,
Right.
building sustainable communities isn't, it's got to be a more creative solution so that people can afford them, so you can build where people want to live. So kudos to you guys for thinking differently. And let's talk a little bit before we dive any deeper. I know you also have a foundation. How is that related to Concrete Roots Group? Is it Concrete Roots Group? And talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so our foundation really focuses on 4 things: youth development, job creation, neighborhood restoration, and sustainability. And we believe in partnering with existing community organizations, because there are just so many that are doing such amazing things that we can come in and help enhance what they're already doing. We like to do that. So for our youth development, we partner with a group called Active Youth Academy. They provide quality after school programming for K through 12 grade students in Title I schools throughout Metro Atlanta area. And I facilitated an entrepreneurship class at one of the schools. And then we hope to start that back up now that students are starting to attend school again. Job creation. So we're partnering with organizations like Atlanta Center for Self-Sufficiency to create on-the-job training for people who are at imminent risk of homelessness due to barriers of employment. And a lot of our on-the-job training has a lot to do within the trades. So Josh, those that we hire, Josh will bring them on a job, teach them trade skills like flooring and tile work and painting and landscaping. And so our hope is that once they pick up these trade skills, that they'll be able to better support themselves and their families. And then in hopes of some of our subcontractors picking them up full time. And then, so that's job creation. Then sustainability is pretty self-explanatory. As time goes on, we're finding new innovative ways on making homes more sustainable. So we hope to announce a solar partner soon. And we are testing methods of water conservation as well. The home that we did in Wilson, the shipping container home we sold last year, all LED lighting. We tried out in different structural installation packages to make sure that the home was running energy efficient. And we were really happy with the results, and we're looking to expand upon that in our next home.
Yeah, I mean, this whole subject is such a fascinating one in terms of, I mean, we could talk for hours just on the sustainability nature of this thing. And I like to think about, I live in a high rise. I like to think, well, that's maybe a sustainable living, but the carbon output on building this 58-story building was quite significant, so this whole idea though of container houses in terms of sustainability is intriguing. And there's so many other areas that it touches. We'll talk about affordable housing in a bit. It's fascinating. You mentioned that Wilson house. I was going to ask you, do you actually have anything that people are living in now? I mean, what's that all about?
Yeah. So the Wilson house, there is a lady that purchased it, and she lives in it full time. Loves it. Loves it. Just loves everything about it. I mean, the way that we designed it was for entertaining. She's a huge entertainer, so she loves having people, there. If you looked at the outline of it, just everything from the living room all the way to the back porch, it's just a clear view of just hangout space, really. And that's what it's about.
Awesome.
Kind of bringing people together. Instead of having a bunch of separate rooms where kids hang out, away from their parents, whatever else. No, you're in the same room. We want to hang out. You kind of never know what your kids are getting into. So, it's everything's right there, right?
So that's awesome. Talk about a conversation piece to hang out with.
Yeah. So when you decided to build Wilson House, did you have a buyer for it, or did you just say no buyer when you started it? And
let's put the dream out there and see if it works.
Yeah. Talk about how big is the house, and about what does a house that size cost? And
so we built that house right at 2,200 square feet altogether. 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. And that house, I mean, we sold it for $341,000. So, which we thought was a fair price, especially, considering, the growth that's in the area and square footage. And we want to be, obviously affordable to people. There's other houses that are, just a mile or two away can be, $500,000 and $600,000.
It's a great price point for a 3-bedroom home.
Yeah. It's just not, but it's a mile from, the Beltline that's in Atlanta. I mean, there's several things within a 5-minute, or a 5-mile drive around you. I mean, just lots of things. I mean, if you could stand up on the roof, you can see the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I mean, it's close. It's right downtown.
Yeah.
But it's still affordable. So,
well, how many shipping containers does it take to create a home that size?
Well, I mean, for that one, it's 2, and we had a wood structure in between it.
Okay.
Okay. But the one, so we're venturing out and kind of, so it's baby steps, right?
Right.
So get our hands wet a little bit, kind of figure this out, get our hands wet a little more. So the one we're doing now that we're in permitting that we're building next door to that one is actually 8 shipping containers. And it's going to be 2,700 square feet.
Now, is that the stacks at Wilson? Because I was going to ask, all right, well, one house is one thing. Building a community is a different matter. It sounds like you guys are on the way with that too.
Yes. So we have several lots that we've already purchased that we're just kind of going to do one at a time, unless we decide to venture out and start doing more than one at a time. It's just these things, we're obviously a newer group. So we have our own financing. Courtney and I finance everything ourselves. And we don't have any real outside investment. It's as we grow, we'll speed up things, right?
Of course.
So,
yeah. Well,
hopefully in the next year or two, we'll have a lot more momentum.
That's awesome.
I guess I'm just fascinated by the whole process. So if you're using 8 shipping containers, are you having to cut some of those open? How does that work?
Yeah. So we cut the walls out completely. I mean, just that way it's just a roof or, whatever we're trying to do, whether we're doing like a double stacked high unit that we get like 18-foot ceilings, or, just try to blow out walls so we can have, just a clear space to make an open concept. And we'll literally just cut the squares out of them wherever we desire and reinforce it with steel and such and put our walls up.
Part of the intrigue is, I think a lot of people have this certain idea in their mind of what living in this would be like. I mean, they have this, I think I'm living in a rail car, and it's not that at all. Talk about, think about the interior of this. I mean, how everyone has a notion of when they build a traditional home, of dealing with the interior finishes and all that. What's that process like with a container?
As far as the finishes on the inside, or
actually exterior as well.
Both, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the interior. The cool thing about shipping containers is you can literally do anything. I mean, I don't know much that you can't do with them. Obviously, the interior of the house that we did with the little white one that you've seen. We had super modern finishes all throughout it. We had custom closets, put inside of them. Obviously, all the granite, everything standard that you would have in a normal house, you have in this one. Only it's better, just for the reason being of it's a lot more structurally sound. With obviously being built with steel, and then the all the insulation that we have. If we want to talk about even some of the affordability, your monthly costs of running it. That house is an all electric house, and we insulated it so well. We did 3 different types of insulation on it. With that, personally, we did not run the air conditioner in that house while we were building it until I think it was 2 days before the open house. And that's because it felt amazing. The house still in the heat of August weather, all we did was open up doors and it was, no issue, no problem. It wasn't hot at all. I think it was like 73 degrees or something like that inside the house.
Wow. So why is that? Because I think our listeners are probably thinking that a giant metal box is going to be really cold in the winter and hot in the summer, but it sounds like it's not. Why not?
It's not. It's the insulation that we do. It's the way we insulate them. And it's not crazy. you'd think, all right, well, if we're having to do all that, it must cost a lot. It doesn't. It's just doing things the right way.
Right.
So funny how that works.
Her bill on an entire electric house, I believe she said even over the wintertime, was $150 on a full electric house.
That's phenomenal.
That's a
2,000 square foot house. It's a great price. So it speaks volumes over how we insulated it to make sure that it is good.
It probably would be the case that if someone went and visited this house and did not know how it was constructed, they might not even realize it's a shipping container. I mean, that's probably how you guys are able to design and customize these things that you might not even realize that it's a container. So that's wicked cool. Well, gosh, we could talk for hours about the benefits of constructing homes like this. I have to think there's an amazing opportunity long term in terms of thinking about shipping containers, in terms of the affordable housing crisis that we've got. What are your comments there? And I imagine your foundation's looking and thinking along those lines as well.
Yeah, no, we are. So it's a balance. It's a balancing act, right? We get people that reach out to us all the time via our website and say, I'm really interested in shipping container houses and the affordability of them. And then when we ask them their design, they send us pictures of, shipping containers cantilevered off of one another and all of the high end, big floor to ceiling windows. And what we like to tell people is it's affordable for someone who would like to live a somewhat modest, life, 1-2 shipping containers. And then, your normal, basic upgraded finishes, right? Your shaker cabinets, granite, that sort of thing. But once you start talking about, cutting floor to ceiling windows, that's when affordability is kind of out the window. So it's about managing expectations. Josh and I think that we can build for, a shipping container house that is with now, as Josh mentioned, wood prices skyrocketing. We could build a shipping container house for relatively the same price, if not less expensive than a traditional wood structured house. However, you have to keep in mind the design and what goes into it. And so when we talk about affordability, we're always looking for how to cut our costs to make things cheaper. Obviously, building in downtown Atlanta, land is, jacks up the price a lot, as well as, going through permitting and everything like that. But we're constantly looking for cost cuts to continue to make our houses more affordable for our home buyers.
New American Funding is committed to delivering home loans on time while providing 5-star service. Their 14 business day close guarantee and fully underwritten pre-approval gives you an unbeatable 1-2 punch impossible for sellers to ignore. For more information on New American Funding, call 678-898-3540. That's 678-898-3540.
Yeah. I was going to ask a little bit about the permitting process. Was that hard to get? I'm assuming that you're in City of Atlanta or you're in Fulton. Was it hard to get permits, and did you have to jump through a lot of hoops?
I'll let Josh speak primarily on this, but I will say that we actually helped the City of Atlanta craft the coding to be able to use shipping containers as in the residential space. And as he mentioned earlier, we have had counties reach out to us and say we would like help crafting
That's awesome.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Josh, you want to talk about kind of the process that you went through with the City of Atlanta?
With the City of Atlanta, there were no codes for shipping container houses. I worked with the City of Atlanta for about a year and a half.
I was going to ask how long that took. Yeah.
Yeah, about a year and a half. And we all kind of came together and, pulled some things from here to there, here to there, here to there, from the different codes that there are established around the United States. as far as building these things, it kind of came up with a good set of codes and guidelines to build these under. So as soon as that happened, we got it approved as far as all the codes and such. We went ahead and submitted our house, and we already had it ready to go, of course. So we had the first fully permitted shipping container house in the city of Atlanta.
Well, one of the ways to impact the market is to be first and to help draft these codes. That's intriguing, and that's going to give you some advantage, I think, in terms of really truly understanding how this market is going to be evolving, and will afford some opportunities to move quicker and be more innovative now that you kind of know that landscape. That's going to be pretty intriguing to watch. Hey, we're wrapping up here. I guess I'll ask each of you to comment on this final question. As we have this conversation, it's mid-year 2021. Where do you think we're going to be next summer? I mean, how far advanced in our thinking and understanding, and where will we be in embracing the concept of container homes? Courtney, I'll ask you to kind of lead off with your thoughts on where we're going in a year's time.
Yeah, no, I think from the feedback that we've received via the open house from the last shipping container, and then people reaching out to us via our website and social media channels, I think the people want it, right? The demand is definitely there. We get requests all the time, whether people have land, don't have land, reaching out and want us to help build, or just expressing the excitement that they have that the trend is hitting the city, right? Urban development. When you hear about shipping containers, it's always rural, right? They're in the mountains and so people are excited that it's coming. And I think they're going to continue to ask and request and push cities for innovative ways of living with affordability kind of at the forefront. We just saw the Atlanta Beltline purchase over 30 acres of land in dedicating to affordable housing. And so I think when we talk about affordable ways of living, I think the shipping container is an idea or a concept that we just can't continue to ignore. And so we're excited about that. Like I said, with Josh and I, in terms of Concrete Roots, we're really excited about the growth and all of the things that we're looking to do. Like I said, we're looking to bring on a solar partner. And so the more that we can leverage innovative ideas and incorporate that into the shipping container house, I think it'll be just that much more attractive, right, to the home buyer. We're cutting costs on electricity. We're cutting costs on, using water conservation methods. And it's just going to be able to be packaged in a way that I think the people want nowadays.
I think the market's finally ready for this message, which is really, really exciting. Josh, any additional comment on where you see this going in the next year?
I think just exposure, to it is the same way. I mean, I just think it's the more exposure, the better for everybody that wants to get into this market itself. I can't speak enough of the amount of love that there's been for this project that we've done and what we're doing. There's just the outflow of just support is huge. So I imagine the more people, the same way we're doing this with you, the more people that understand it and can kind of see it from a firsthand perspective, whether they come see a house, at our open house or, whatever else as we get these done. It's just, people are just going to fall in love with it, see what they can actually do. And I think a lot of people are going to fall into a category of being able to think outside the box, literally.
Yep, I agree. Literally. Yeah, stigma isn't the right word, but there's probably a stigma. People are thinking, this is not normal living. But I think they're quickly going to learn that there's a lot of really intriguing opportunity with this style of construction. Very, very exciting. All right. Well, Josh, we're going to let you go so you can concentrate on the road. Courtney, I want to close with you. For those that are listening who want to learn more and get more information about this and have a place to go to get some questions answered, where do they go?
So our website is concreteroots.com. And we also are on all the major, we're on Facebook and Instagram as Concrete Roots. And we update, have all of our updates on all new developments that we post on all of the website and both social media outlets.
Outstanding. Well, let's be sure we have you guys back on the show in a year's time, and we'd love to kind of see how this thing's evolving and how it continues to penetrate the marketplace and our thinking. So good luck. It's going to be fun to watch and see how this evolves. All right, Courtney and Josh Booth, the founders of Concrete Roots Group. Guys, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you making time, and good luck with this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure. All right, well, that wraps this week's All About Real Estate edition. On behalf of our show sponsor, New American Funding, my co-host, Carol Morgan, I am Todd Schnick. That's all the time that we have for today. Thank you for tuning in and listening, and we'll look forward to seeing you again right here next week. We'll see you then.
Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio is made possible by Denim Marketing, the publisher of Atlanta Real Estate Forum, Atlanta's favorite source for real estate and home building news. Denim Marketing is a comfortable fit, like your favorite pair of jeans. Denim Marketing tailors marketing strategies to meet your specific needs and niche. Try them on for size. They will work to create a perfect fit for your company's marketing program. Call them at 770-383-3360 or send an email to info@denimmarketing.com. For more information on Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio or to inquire about being a guest, contact info@atlantarealestateforum.com. Check out the radio show by visiting atlantarealestateforum.com or by listening to the show on your favorite podcast app. And if you enjoyed today's broadcast, we'd sure appreciate a rating and review on iTunes. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next time on Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio.